What's up, football fans? Back again. The NFL executives are at it again. They did their top 10 wide receiver list for 2022, and you know I have something to say about it. So, the list came out, and I kind of assumed Devontae would be at the top, and he is. So, that's sweet, but there's a lot of question marks about whether or not Cooper Kupp should be number one. After Kupp was the Triple Crown winner last year, it's pretty remarkable for a white guy out of Eastern Washington University to be as dominant as he was. Obviously, his relationship with Matt Stafford um, really had a lot to do with all this. I mean, the rest of the list, it's pretty funny that a smaller, undersized guy with not very much speed, from Eastern Washington that wasn't drafted very high is at the top of this list. But it's pretty cool to see. Like I said, he had the Triple Crown last year, and then he followed it up with the Super Bowl MVP. Obviously, his success is linked to Stafford. Stafford was an elite quarterback in Detroit, didn't have the pieces around him. He had Megatron for a bit, but that's besides the point. He didn't have a collective team around him to win. First year with the Rams, and they win the Super Bowl. A lot of it having to do with Cooper Kupp. But Kupp's not number one, like I said. That goes to Davante Adams, the ex-Green Bay Packer, who they traded to the Las Vegas Raiders for a few picks, who they did use to trade up and get Christian Watson, but the Packers let Davante Adams go, and the Raiders were more than happy to bring him home. Obviously, he goes back to play with Derek Carr, his college quarterback at Fresno State, and he gets to be closer to home. He said now he's closer to his grandparents, and his grandparents haven't been able to see him watch a game in 8 years. So, pretty cool to know that he'll have his family there when he's playing at home. Pretty exciting for the Adams family. But so Adams last year, he had a PFF grade of 92.7, which is his career high. That's he really dominated. He had a great season. Over 10 touchdowns again, and just Pro Bowl. He is the best. He's got the best footwork in the NFL. Obviously, he doesn't even use his hands. He says he never even uses his hands. He's always it's all about his footwork. Just faking them out, using his head. He does a lot of head fakes. So he's fun to watch. If you ever just watch his feet and watch how he creates separation without using his hands at all, it's so cool. He really is, and he is the best. But he was the best with Aaron Rodgers. I'm curious to see how he is with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is not Aaron Rodgers. Derek Carr really had a great season last year. He set all-time or career highs for completions and yards and touchdowns and all that. So he really had a great season. A lot of it had to do with the weapons around him, I think, and now that Devontae's there, they have some chemistry from back in college, but it's the NFL, and it's a whole new everything. So it's 8 years later. A lot of things are different. So we'll see how that chemistry works itself out, but I don't see Adams having the same kind of numbers he had last year. The Raiders have, Waller and Renfro and Jacobs, and, Carr's going to be spreading the ball around. Each of those guys could have 100 yards, Adams, all three of them. So, 100 catches. So, who knows? It's going to be interesting to see if he can repeat that kind of success that he had last year. I don't see it happening, but, I love Devontae. He's forever a Packer. He's one of my all-time favorites still. I just don't see it translating like it did in Green Bay just because of all the other talent that they have. He was basically the focal point in Green Bay for the Packers, so Rodgers' number one target, he kind of force-fed him the ball and over-forced it at some points, like in the playoffs. So, yeah, we'll see how that works out for Devontae. Right now, he's number one. It's his to lose the spot. Obviously, he earned that spot, but we will see how this season plays itself out. And yeah, so now number two, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp still blows my mind. He was not ever projected to reach this kind of success, have these kinds of accolades. So it is pretty cool to see. Him winning the Super Bowl MVP just kind of put the cherry on top. But he had a 93 PFF grade for the year, which is just above Adams, which made him number one for the season. And his connection with Stafford, they would wake up and have breakfast and lunch and eat and run routes and do whatever all day together, and that's great for the chemistry, and it helps on the field, and that's why they had so much success. People want to laugh at it and poke fun at it and all that or whatever, but they won the Super Bowl, so joke's on everybody else, I guess. And I really expect to see that success repeat. I don't know if OBJ's going back to the Rams. He's still in limbo. So they did get Allen Robinson to replace Robert Woods. So it'll be, Robinson had some down seasons with the Bears, but he had some okay success, but no team success. So he's looking to bounce back. He's capable of doing really great things. He's a big guy, and he's really he's a solid number two receiver to go along with Kupp. They have Van Jefferson, obviously Tyler Higbee at tight end, and running backs. They interchange them, and they should be good with Cam Akers and Henderson. So look for the Rams to be good again this year. Yeah, Cooper Kupp should probably... I don't know if he's going to repeat the same exact numbers. Those were just crazy, astronomical numbers, so I just don't know if he's going to repeat that, but he has the... it's lining up that he could do basically the same thing again this season. Number 3 on the list, which... Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, number 3 is Jamar Chase, the Cincinnati Bengal receiver. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong list. I'm like, no, that's not the right guy. Yeah, so Jamar Chase is number 3. Obviously, Jamar, he had a 266-yard game last season. He's blown up on the scene. No one expected this. He came in a year after Justin Jefferson and already kind of surpassed him in success and what people think he's able to do. On this list, he's ahead of him as well, obviously. Jamar Chase just really came out last season and dominated. He had drop issues in camp last year, and I kind of thought, okay, this guy is gonna be one of these flame outs. He's gonna, struggle. It's gonna be tough for him. There's a lot of top receivers that got drafted. Some Oakland Raiders got some receivers over the years really high in the draft that never really became anything. So it's happened before. I thought maybe that could have happened to Chase, and it was the exact opposite. So yeah, deep receiving touchdowns, he had 8. Total deep yards, 576. He had finished second. Those long balls, he can catch the short, intermediate routes. He can do it all. He can do it all. I look for him to have a big season with Joe Burrow. I just think those two guys are going to take another leap forward. Burrow's going to be another year away from that ACL tear. Going to be more comfortable. They got that offensive line shirt up. I mean, all those sacks that Burrow takes, those are all going to be passes to Chase now. So he's not going to be getting sacked 9 times in a game like against Tennessee. Maybe 2 or 3, so that's 6 more passes, and with Chase, they could be touchdowns. He is that electric. I'm not saying all of them, but you know what I mean. So I just look for Jamar. I mean, coming out as a rookie and putting up numbers like that, that's pretty amazing. And to leapfrog all these guys that he did, I mean, Hopkins, Diggs, Hill, Jefferson, Evans, Samuel, all these guys, And there's guys that aren't on the list that I thought should be on the list, but I'll get to that at the end. Yeah, so Chase, should have another big season. The only issue with the Bengals is they have other weapons. They have Tyler Boyd, who's solid. He could be easily a number 2 or a number 1 on another team. The Packers, he'd be number 1 for them probably. But then T. Higgins, who I think is way underestimated, way undervalued because of the fact that they have Chase, but Higgins is really a good player as well. With all those guys, Jamar still put up those big numbers as a rookie, so they made it work. So I don't see them having any issue with that. But let's just say like Higgins comes on a little more, or Boyd starts taking over, it will kind of take over some of Chase's catches. So we'll see. I think Chase is, right where he should be. He's really good. I have sometimes an issue comparing him and Justin Jefferson, which one is better, and I'm glad to see that, they decided that Chase was better, but I'm glad to see that they're, 3 and 4, because that's kind of how I'd have him too. Chase, just electric last year, and he closes out the 3rd spot. Justin Jefferson, number 4, like I just said. He's, another guy coming out of LSU. He's just really a good player, runs good routes. He kind of reminds me of Adams, of like how he moves his feet, but he's more of a long strider. He's a little bit quicker, gets it in and out of his routes faster, and I think he just has a little bit more over the top speed. But it's said that only Devontae Adams produced a higher grade against man coverage since 2020 than Justin Jefferson. So that's pretty crazy. That means that he's right up there with beating his guy, and just always being in the right spot, being on the same page with Kirk Cousins, and he just had an exceptional year. He really did. He blew all kinds of different, records that Randy Moss held for the first 2 years of success, like yards and success in this league. So, I mean, anytime you're in the same conversation as Randy Moss, you definitely made it for sure. And that's what's so cool about Justin Jefferson having or doing so well. Obviously, Vikings are tough to decide how they're going to do, because Kirk Cousins can either win you a game, or he could throw 4 touchdowns but then throw 3 interceptions and lose your game. So you never really know what you're going to get. I love Dalvin Cook. I like Adam Thielen. The Vikings defense always stout, but Zimmer's gone now. So we will see how their defense looks without Zimmer. Then we will see how their offense looks now that they have a new head coach as well. And I still look for Justin Jefferson to produce at a high level. Whether they win or lose, he's still going to do his thing. And, Justin Jefferson, number 4 on the list. Number 5 is Tyreque Cheetah Hill. Hill went from Patrick Mahomes, MVP, Super Bowl winner, the next best thing at quarterback, and he decided to take Tyreek decided to take his talent down to Miami and play with Tua. And so, we'll see how it comes out this year. The Dolphins actually do have a very explosive offense. I think they have Cedric Wilson now. They have Tyreek Hill. They've got the running backs. They got Raheem Mostert, and then they got Chase Edmonds. So and Jalen Waddle. There's a lot of pieces there. So, Tyreek Hill, obviously, we all know get the ball in his hands and he's going to break it open. He's so fun to watch. He's so fast. I've never seen anybody faster in football pads in my life. 27 touchdowns since 2017. On deep balls. And so it's just insane. Like, all you just throw it as far as you can, throw it deep, I'll catch it. Basically the play call. It's he's going to be used in a lot of different ways in Miami, but they have other guys that are fast too. I mean, Mostert's fast. Edmonds is pretty fast. I know Jalen Waddle is really fast. Um, it's going to be a fast offense, and it's going to be up to Tua to get them the ball. And all reports say that Tua is not up for the challenge, but I am not ready to sleep on Tua yet. I want to see him. He hasn't proved that he can't do it. He's had a lot of craziness going around the organization when he's trying to learn the offense and everything, and he's still young. So coming off that hip injury, I think Tua's going to be fine now that they got this offense in tip-top shape. It's going to be fun to watch, and Tyreek Hill is going to be the center of that. Whether or not he's going to be, in the top 5 receivers next year, PFF even had him rated top 5 on their list. After a year with Tua, if he's still on the top 5, then Miami probably had a good season. So we will see how that goes. I don't know if Hill is, or if Tua is up for the task and going to get Hill the ball the same way that Mahomes was able to, because we just haven't seen it yet from Tua. So a lot to look forward to in this NFL or 2022 NFL season when it comes to the Chiefs not having Hill, the Dolphins having Hill, Packers not having Devontae, and the Raiders ultimately having Devontae. Those two big moves at wide receiver were a shock to a lot of people, and it'll be very interesting to see how their success either increases or wanes as the season goes on. Number 6. So that's number 5. So number 6 is Stefan Diggs. I always liked Diggs. He did play for the Vikings. We all remember the Minneapolis Miracle or whatever they call it. The Vikings when they beat the Saints. So we all remember that. But Diggs is a top receiver. Obviously, he's got Josh Allen, who I think is really good. He's still got some more to prove, but people would say that he's elite, and I think he's just about there. I want to see him take a few more steps. But anyway, Diggs, he's fun to watch. Seems like he's got a fun personality. I like guys who play the game with that kind of heart and just enjoy what they have, because they get to play football. So, Diggs, he's top 5 on the PFF. He's 6 on this list, which means he's definitely an elite receiver. We used to play him all the time. The Packers used to play him all the time, and he was just shifty. He's hard to cover. He can break it deep. He's a little showboaty. He's a talker. So, he's fun to watch, and he's just had a lot of success with Josh Allen. He's one of the best route runners in the game. He's one of the best at the catch point, getting up and, making contested catches. So, and he had the 7th ranked, separation rate against single coverage. So that means like when he's just being covered by somebody, he's 7th or higher in the separation rate. So that's huge for a quarterback, especially a young one like Josh Allen. Having a guy that can get that separation and create a little window for you is just huge. It really does help. Bills are close to, they're so close to making it over the hump and getting past the Chiefs, and then they didn't, but they beat them last year, but then they didn't beat them in the playoffs, and they're kind of just on that bubble right now to get to the Super Bowl. So Stefan Diggs is going to have a big season. I think he'll probably be on this list next year as well, and barring any injuries, knock on wood. So, I think him and Josh Allen are going to have big seasons. Allen's going to take another step, and that's going to allow Diggs to just up his game that much more. I'm excited. I really think that Allen's going to be in the MVP conversation. I think it's going to be a different guy, but I think he'll be in the conversation, and it'll be because of Diggs. So, Diggs coming up number 6. So number 7 is a guy we have not seen in a while, and who might, I think he starts this season on physical, or not the physically unable to perform, but because he tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug. Deandre Hopkins is number 7 on the list. He's been hurt, kept him out of most of 2021. And now, guaranteed not to have him for a minimum of 6 games due to the PED test, or positive test. So, Hopkins will be out. So that's, I hate when they do that with guys. I know Hopkins, if you're going to do it based on talent, Hopkins should just be like number 1 or number 2, because that's what he is. I mean, that catch that he caught, like, upside down, but it was like pass interference or something, and it was like the best one catch that never counted. I mean, we know that Hopkins is talented. Like, to have PFF has him rated number 3, even though he hasn't played. Since joining Arizona in 2020, his 1.8% drop rate is the second best in the NFL. That's crazy. But he didn't play most of last year. Now he's going to be out just under half of this year. So, I mean, I like Hopkins. I do. When I saw him catch that one for Houston and then kind of like spin around in circles and stuff down the field, and we all remember that one. I think it was against Dallas. So it was, that's kind of what's in my head. And then the Hail Mary, 3 Buffalo Bills around him, and Hopkins goes up and catches it between them all. I mean, that's crazy. That's like what you want to see. So I just like watching him. He's really good. Too bad he's not going to be in there for six weeks at least. It's his 10th season, so there's no doubting he's one of the best when he's healthy. And that's the issue. He's either not healthy or doing something like the PED. And he claims that he didn't do anything, but usually that's what they say. So who knows? I don't think he was trying to get bigger and stronger. He was probably just trying to heal faster, or just maybe he did take a supplement he didn't know. But whatever, that's doesn't matter to the NFL. He is out for a few games at least. Otherwise, if he was in all season, he'd have a dominant season probably. I mean, Kyler Murray's going to be trying to get that big contract. I don't know if they've worked that out or if they're about to. I kind of heard that they're about to pay him, so we will see. But Kyler Murray is going to be trying to get some money or getting money, and he's going to be ready to go. And Arizona just already has that dynamic offense with Rondale Moore and then A.J. Green and Zach Ertz. So they're going to be ready to rock. I know Chase Edmonds went to the Dolphins, so they have James Conner ready to pound the rock. So we will see how they perform, but without Hopkins, it's going to be difficult. So he is number 7 on the list, and that takes us to number 8, who is Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he is the only receiver to start his career in this 8 seasons with 1,000 yards at least each year. So pretty amazing for him. I mean, I don't think anybody expected Mike Evans to be that guy, but he's just been very consistent. He's really been a solid, target for Tom Brady. He was even really good with Jameis Winston. He had really good seasons before that, obviously, because Brady's only been there for 2 seasons now, and he's had 8. So he was having success before Brady got there, and now with Brady, it just makes it that much easier. Chris Godwin's a Pro Bowler on the other side, and he's actually top 20 on this list, I think, but he just has injury issues and stuff, even though he made the Pro Bowl a few years ago. Godwin's not super dependable when it comes to being on the field, so Evans has kind of carried the load. 83.3% contested catch rate, so that's pretty high. He's got a big physical frame, 6'5". He can go out and make the catch at the catch point, box the defender out, and he just he's got good hands. Not crazy speed, but he can get over the top, and just he's got a good rapport with Brady now, so he's able to really get open and makes it tough for the defenders. 19 total touchdowns inside the 20-yard line. That's the third most among receivers. that's pretty impressive as well. That means down near the goal line, kind of just toss it up to him. He goes up and gets it. I'd like to see who's number 1 and number 2 on that list. Probably Adams, because Adams is so efficient down in the red zone. But still, for Evans, those are huge numbers. Makes Brady's job a lot easier. And now without Gronk, they're gonna need that deep or that jump ball threat in the red zone. So Evans might get even more red zone targets this year. I don't know if Godwin's gonna be back healthy for sure. I know they got Russell Gage from Atlanta coming down to Tampa, so he's going to be kind of the slot guy for Brady. And I just mentioned that they don't have Gronk this year, so Cameron Brate will be the number 1 tight end. I know O.J. Howard went somewhere else, and so it's going to be up to Tom Brady to kind of make the most of what he's got. And Evans should probably, with there being an extra game, they only need 59 yards per game to make 1,000 yards. So the 1,000-yard threshold isn't quite what it used to be. It's more like the 1,200 or 1,300. It should be kind of like the old 1,000 yards. But still, with that being said, Mike Evans should have his 9th 1,000-yard season in a row. And Tampa Bay should be in the playoff conversation or even with Super Bowl talks because, of course, they have the GOAT, Tom Brady. And we will see, if Godwin comes back, they're going to be a super dynamic with Gage and Evans and just, how dynamic does that sound? So with Brady, he's never had weapons like that really at his disposal besides when they had AB. But, yeah, that didn't last very long. So that is number 8. And number 9, we have Devo Samuel, which kind of ironically, he's number 9 on the PFF grade as well. So they have him exactly where they both think that he should be. On their scale, though, he's actually in Tier 2, which is young talents on the cusp of Tier 1. So most of the guys I just mentioned were all in the upper tier of the PFF, but the top 10 is from the executives. They don't actually have anything to do with PFF. I just like looking at them because of how they grade everything. They really do use a lot of analytics to kind of rate these guys, so makes it interesting to look at just from a statistical perspective. So yeah, Devo Samuel, he kind of just jumped onto the scene. No one really expected him to be this crazy, explosive, hybrid receiver, runner, and average so much per catch, 10.8 yards per catch, and then as explosive as he is on the ground, 14 explosive runs of 10 yards or more. So, and he broke 28 tackles on 60 or 86 carries, so that's crazy. PFF grade of above 90, which for like a hybrid wide receiver running back guy, that's really a high score. He's just so dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's a ball of muscle. He's hard to tackle. He's hard to bring down. He's quick. He's decisive. You can depend on him to make the catch. Those running plays I saw him like against Dallas, like it was just he's gone, and then you don't even expect him to get the ball, really, and then he hasn't, and he's gone. So that's a lot of play design, by Shanahan, but that's also Devo just being a really, really good player. So obviously the 49ers have question marks, though. What are they going to do with Jimmy G? What are they doing with Trey Lance? Is he ready to go? Is he not? And that's going to make a difference to Devo, because if he has Jimmy G throwing it to him, he might have the same success. If Trey struggles, Devo could struggle. I don't know if they're going to trade Jimmy G yet, and I've heard just recently that they might trade Devo, or Devo still wants to get traded, and that Dallas might be interested. So that would be a whole other topic to talk about if Devo did go to Dallas. But right now with San Fran, I think he has the potential to repeat seasons. He doesn't want to be used the way that they're using him, though, unless he gets paid. So, and then if he gets paid, he might not want to play the way that he's been playing. So it's a toss-up. What do? he doesn't want to be used as a running back if he's not getting paid the money that he thinks he deserves. So those are all issues. Will he play as hard? Will he be as effective this year as he was because he hasn't got paid? We will see. I hate to see it come down to that, but obviously these guys need to protect their families and themselves and their futures, and I understand it completely. Get your money, Devo. Get your money. Pretty, San Fran's, they're going to have a tough defense. They're going to have a solid running game like always. It just comes down to that quarterback, and they traded so much for that pick to get Trey Lance. So to trade Jimmy G for a low-round pick because no one wants him right now, and to have Trey Lance struggle is going to be tough. So hopefully Trey Lance is able to play well, and we should see Devo on this list again next year. So that's number 9, and to round out the top 10, which, interestingly, they have A.J. Brown for PFF, but on this list, on the executives list, we have number 10, Dk Metcalf, which I can't argue with that. I do like Brown. I also like Lamb. I also like a few other guys, but I do really like Metcalf. He's got a freaky combination of like size and speed, and just he races those sprints or try to be in that track meet, and he's just really fast for his size. And we all saw those pictures of him flexing. Dude's just a monster. Racked up the second most receiving touchdowns, 11, and third most contested catches, 12, from passes thrown over 20 yards downfield since 2019 when he entered the league. That's super impressive. He broke the 9th most tackles after the catch, 35. That's nuts, for a receiver. That's pretty funny. I really liked Metcalf coming out of college. I thought that the Packers might draft him, but they went a different way, and so it's okay. Metcalf has had a great season or career so far, and that's just been a product of his hard work. But it's also been because Russell Wilson is such a good quarterback, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning, and he had Tyler Lockett on the other side who helped open up space for him. But Metcalf is just he's a guy that if you just get him the ball, he's going to make something happen. He's hard to bring down. He runs good routes. He's obviously faster than he looks, or faster than people think he is. He can get away from guys, and it's just going to be interesting to see how Geno Smith or Drew Lock fare at quarterback, and DK Metcalf could have a really, really tough season if he doesn't get a quarterback that can play. Geno Smith, I don't think is going to be the guy. I think it's going to be Drew Lock. They said that if Drew Lock was coming out this year, he would have been the number 1 quarterback picked. So that kind of makes me feel a little bit better. But I also know that he struggled in Denver, and Seattle doesn't have a very good team around him otherwise. So we will see how DK Metcalf can do. He is one of the biggest vertical threats in the NFL, and he should have success either way. Even some of the worst quarterbacks still have receivers that catch passes. So I'm interested to see how it plays out for Metcalf. I know he's trying to get a contract, and this is a season that's going to determine how much he gets and how much he can demand and all that. So a lot riding on this year for Metcalf, and hopefully Drew Lock can perform enough that Seattle is relevant. The NFL is always better when the 12th man is relevant, and it's always fun to see that bright green. So I like those jerseys. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out in the quarterback room. I thought maybe they were going to get Baker Mayfield, but they didn't, and now they're stuck with Locke or Smith, and I think that's going to affect Metcalf's season a lot. I do not think he will be on this list next year because of that, and because he won't be on the list, I really think guys like A.J. Brown, well, I don't know if he's going to be on the list either. I like A.J. Brown, but I don't know how Jalen Hurts is going to perform this year. So I actually really think CD is 12th on the PFF ratings, and then there's like T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson. But my pick, who I saw some people thinking that should go like top 5, and a lot of people forget. I don't know if he just struggled last year, or he's not really had any injury history, but he had his lowest graded PFF season since 2014, and that's Keenan Allen. And I really like Keenan Allen. A lot of people think he's an elite receiver. He should be higher up than I think that they have him, but I know he had a down season last year, so that's what this is probably all based on. They also have Mike Williams, but I think the Chargers are going to be a really good team this year with Justin Herbert. I think he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks this year. So there's a lot of receivers that I think will be moving around on this list. Like I said, I really like CeeDee Lamb. He's going to be the number 1 target down in Dallas now. They do have that guy out of Southern Alabama. So we'll see how that translates. It's going to be interesting because Tolbert. So Tolbert's a big physical receiver, kind of like an Amari Cooper, that put on the other side of CeeDee Lamb. And Dak and the running backs just have to perform well enough to open up some lanes and everything for the receivers. Because if they can just play the pass and stuff the run easily, then they can play too high safety and just shut everything down. So Zeke's got to get going. Pollard's got to get going. They got to open, got to get those safeties down in the box so that they can go over the top and open some downfield passes for CeeDee Lamb and the rest of the guys. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out. Dallas is always fun to watch. There's always so much expectation behind the Cowboys, and then a lot of lately, since the mid-90s, they haven't lived up to the expectations. So it's always better if the Cowboys are relevant, and I look for guys like Lamb to be the reason why they are. A.J. Brown, like I said, he's on this top 10 list, even with Tannehill as his quarterback last year, even with Derrick Henry running it most of the time last year. He did get traded to Philadelphia. He's top 10 on the PFF list. He's 11th on the other list, which right above Metcalf. So A.J. Brown, with Jalen Hurts, he could have a big season. We'll see. Obviously, they have Devontae Smith down there, last year's first-round pick. And I know they were talking about the Eagles being some kind of dream team now, but Hurts is still kind of that running back quarterback that's trying to learn how to throw better in the NFL. We've seen that a lot, and we all know that normally it does not translate. So we will see how that goes. I do like A.J. Brown, but I also don't think he'll be on this list next year, which is why guys like, CeeDee Lamb or even T. Higgins could be higher up, because I just think that they have a lot more. They're a lot more likely to have chances to make big plays, and they have quarterbacks that are and teams that are going to be able to put up some big numbers this year. So, and again, Michael Thomas is back this year. That could be interesting. We all know he's a top 5 receiver in this league when he is healthy and full go. And Amari Cooper and guys like Mike Williams, DJ Moore, Julio Jones, who doesn't have a team yet, Adam Thielen, Chris Godwin should be back. They're all guys that are in the top 20 or so, and I look for them to have big years. But yeah, all right, guys, that's the list. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out other videos, like and subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter at Q_noseball, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Later.